Hello and good evening. Welcome to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show here on Lounge Sports Network. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on X. Such a lot going on in the last week. I am Sam Sprunger, joined as always by JW Shannon. JW, how are we this week? Oh, you weren't you were on mute. I'm sorry, I forgot to unmute you.
That's all right. I unmuted myself.
I saw that. Good on you.
Yeah,
How are we?
I'm good, man. Ready for another week of football.
Yeah, it's interesting this week. We'll talk about this week's opponent on the third and last segment because Coach Richards will be in. But
Right.
we are going to talk about last week. This was a 48-14 win over Pandora-Gilboa. JW, the Pirates performed against the Rockets kind of the way we were expecting, maybe not necessarily score-wise, but at least with production and stat-wise, as we expected against Ben Logan. But it's getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely knew that we would probably have a more scores in this game than we had against Ben Logan. But yeah, I was surprised with the ease that a lot of those scores came.
Yeah, and that's not at all saying anything about Pandora. They've got some athletes,
No.
they've got some players. They just they happened to play us on a week where we kind of went, oh, we didn't play our best. We're going to put our best foot forward this week.
Yeah, and we've got so many offensive weapons again this year. So I mean, it's going to be tough for anybody to shut any one facet down.
And we've had that the past couple of years that we've been doing this. We've had an offense that has a lot of weapons.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, and said the same thing, JW. We've said the same thing. Hey, it's going to be really hard to take away the one and not take them away most of them. You can't do it very well.
No.
But this year it's just it's a different type of thing. Like Kane Wright. Let's talk about him just a minute. It's his second varsity game ever.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the second week straight, he's over 100 yards.
Right.
Now, granted, week one he had an 80-yard and a 45-yard touchdown reception. Those were his only two receptions.
Still very impressive, though.
This last week, yeah, absolutely, because he touched the ball and he was on it.
Yeah.
He scored. But this week he had 5 catches, only one touchdown. Yeah, but he had 127 yards, a 63-yard catch for the Pirates. It's hard to replace what we had last year, but doggone it, it's really, really nice to have a weapon like Kane.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, he's a big trackster, and he's just a natural. And to come out your first year of high school football and dominate, I mean, when they throw it to him, if he's got any opening, you're not going to catch him.
I think we need to have a talk with this young man and ask him why in the world this is his first year.
Well, I'm just grateful that he came out this year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm really happy he came out this year because
he's such a great kid. I mean, just all around.
He and Leighton Miller were this last week's Riley Creek Sportswear Players of the Week, the co-players of the week.
Yeah.
Leighton had, I believe, 3 touchdowns and a catch or a couple. Did he have an interception or a fumble recovery? Which one was it? Fumble recovery.
Let me check. Yeah, I was just marking that down earlier.
I'm pretty sure he had a fumble recovery, but he had an all-around really good game. And then Kane also with the 5 catches and 127 yards.
Yeah. He had a tackle for a loss.
Okay.
But
it might have been one of our fumbles that he recovered, so maybe it doesn't.
Well, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that, but yeah.
That was the play that Blaine decided he was going to do a little bit of dancing and get that loaf of bread hold on the ball, and it got popped out, and Leighton fell on it. And I can see
Yeah,
Coach Richards in the back room shaking his head because he knows
yeah,
exactly the play we're talking about.
right.
But let's talk about that defense. I mean, now there are still some concerns that I kind of highlighted, and they're not big concerns. But when
No,
it comes
not
to
so
this
far.
defense, we're giving up more to the rush. Both weeks so far this year, we've been over 100 yards. This week, or this
Hmm.
last week, Pandora ran for 157 yards. That's unheard of from what we're used to,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and so. It's not a concern, like I said, but that's that. If there is a concern that is still kind of dwelling with that defense, it might be how we stop the run.
Yeah. Well, and with Pandora, their passing wasn't going anywhere for them,
Mm-hmm.
other than those short little slant passes from the outside.
Yeah,
So, I mean, they had to try what was their strength. And normally with Burkholder in the backfield, you're gonna get some yardage
right.
roughing.
Right, and that was kind of what I was getting at is the past couple of seasons, and we'll do this all year where we say the past couple of seasons. It's
Right.
just an abnormality that we're used to seeing.
Sure.
Um, Good running backs would come in against us and they'd have 60 yards.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I mean now we're giving up 157 to Pandora. Like I said, it's not a big concern. I look at it as we won 48-14, and we played a pretty dominant game on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
But if there is a concern from that, that would be a little bit of what I bring out from that.
Sure. But they to that point though, they had to rush 26 times
Right,
to get
right,
157
yep.
yards. So
So the
uh,
average is
they
down.
weren't. Yeah, they weren't clipping any big yardage off on us, but
Well, looking at the stats, Tate Gieske, yet another game where we could have made him a game where we could have made him the player of the game, simply because
yeah,
he was 12 of 16. So great efficiency, 308 yards passing with 6 touchdowns. Let me say that again,
yeah,
six
six
touchdowns,
touchdown.
and it's just he's having a great start to the season, like we anticipated him having. Is a good start to the season, be it on the ground and through the air, because he also had 4 runs for 72 yards.
Right.
That right there is pretty darn impressive, to
Yeah, and
have 300 yards passing and almost 100 yards rushing.
and that's kind of the Tate we were used to seeing.
Right.
He's never been afraid to pick and go if there's nothing open, and he normally does get some pretty good numbers when he is running the ball.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
on defense too. I mean, he was in on 6 tackles, so and he doesn't play. He's not a big defensive guy, but due to injuries, he stepped it up and
Yep.
did a really nice job.
Speaking of injuries, we don't 100% know the severity, but Parker Lovell did exit the game
Yeah,
late in the third quarter. I think it was JW, wasn't it? With an issue, he had 14 runs for 100 yards, but
yeah,
he did leave the game early, before the starters were pulled, and we're not sure of his status this week, but we'll get to that
right.
down the
Yeah,
road. But
he's been nursing that
mhm,
hamstring, ever since
right,
track season. So
right, and much like last year, while it's a concern, we do have a solid backup. Jackson Bolus, the
yeah,
senior running back, he is a good backup.
yeah,
So I don't really consider our running game taking a huge hit if Parker has to sit out a week to
right.
rest that hamstring.
Yeah, and you've got people like Leighton or different players that can line up as a slot back or something
Sure.
and do just
Yep.
as much damage running the ball as the other guys. So just depends on what kind of plays you want to run, I guess.
I have confidence in this coaching staff that they're going to be creative enough that if they
Absolutely.
don't have Parker
Yeah.
available, they're going to be able to put together a pretty decent running game
Oh yeah.
anyways.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, the last thing that I was going to talk, and this I'm not giving it away, but I may be foreshadowing, maybe JW. The drive early in the game. I guess it was about midway through the second quarter. Maybe it was
Yeah.
early third quarter. No, it was midway through the second. It was still kind of the game was still kind of, we're not sure how it's
Right.
going to go.
Yeah.
Like Pandora was
Yeah.
driving, and they got to the point where Jackson Bullis made tackle on first down, second down, third down, or let's say it this way: he was in on the tackle on each of those, and then fourth
Oh,
down, he made the stuff a big hit stuff to keep Burkholder from getting the first down, turning the ball over on downs.
yeah.
That was kind of at that point. That was the turning point. Like that's when at the point of that game that I was like, okay, I think we're pretty good, solid shape right now.
Oh, yeah.
We were
Yeah.
already
Jack.
ahead, I believe, 20-0, or I think it was 20-7, and I think Pandora
Yeah.
was driving.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Jackson had a really good defensive game. Not only did he have those key tackles, but he also had a sack and a tackle for loss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hats off to him. He had a whale of a game.
He sure did. And overall, the Pirates, no matter what you see on the stat sheets or what you saw at the game, that there might be some concern. All in all, it's 2-0. You know,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the ultimate thing. You don't want to not try to work and perfect things, but at the same time,
Sure.
we got a 2-0 record. We
Right.
go into week 3 with some momentum heading that way,
A little
and
swag.
yeah, a little bit. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we will have Coach Jeff Richards, who is calmly and nicely waiting in the green rooms, if you will, listening to us ramble on. But we will come back and talk to him about the game against Pandora, and then also about this week's matchup as we travel to Toledo to take on Bowsher. So
Right.
stay tuned to yeah. So we'll be right back. You are watching the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Forget about those boring workouts. Jazzercise Bluffton brings the fire, loud music, big moves, zero apologies. This is more than fitness. It's strength, mental and physical. We offer 10 classes a week, high energy, full power. Call 419-722-4427 for more information. Jazzercise Bluffton. Train strong, live stronger.
Bluffton Auto Repair Center provides friendly, reliable service for all your hometown car needs. Call 419-358-1900. Bluffton Auto Repair Center, across the street from Stratton Auto Group on Main and Jefferson in Bluffton.
Blanchard Valley Health System isn't just a hospital. We are an integrated health system providing comprehensive care in Northwest Ohio. For more information, please visit bvhealthsystem.org. Blanchard Valley Health System. We're here for you.
Fat Jack's Pizza in Lima, Ohio has 3 locations on West Street, Finley Road, and Spencerville Road to serve you. Family owned and operated, Fat Jack's offers great food options. Go to fatjackspizza.com for menus and more information.
Kira's Flipside Grill on Main Street in Bluffton offers a made-in menu, live weekly music, craft beer and cocktails, plus kids' meals too. Kira's Flipside Grill. Exceptional food, hip atmosphere, unique dining experience.
All right, we are back here on the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show, live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. I am Sam Sprunger, J.W. Shannon, and we are joined by Coach Jeff Richards. Coach, thanks for giving yet more time to us to sit here and talking about various things.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the game against Pandora last week. Is there, I know you heard me talking about if there was a concern leaving this about the defense. Is there any sort of concern, or is it still just a work in progress to work on that rushing defense?
Well, I think across the board, there's concerns. We want to continue getting better. We don't want to ever be satisfied with where we're at. Defense definitely showed some good things Friday, much better than what they showed the week before. but complacency leads to, bad things. So we really got to focus on getting better and also keep developing. A lot of young guys got opportunities, and some of them had a great first, varsity reps experience and did good. And others realize they got a lot of work to do. So, I don't think there's anything glaring about, this is a major problem. It's more of we've got to clean up a lot of things from week to week.
Is it pretty different compared to the previous couple of seasons, just for the fact that maybe there are more things that need shoring up compared to previous seasons, or is this one different, the same aspects, just different things with this defense?
Every year brings its own little, quirks and differences. From one year to the next, you've got certain areas where you're much more confident going into the season with who you have there. And every year you get surprised with a person or a unit that really jumps out, and performs at a super high level. I can go back years now to where there was units where we're like, oh, this unit's really going to struggle. And they ended up being one of our more, solid cornerstones of the defense. I think a big part of it is, just like with offense, the defense has to kind of work in unison, and communication is something that we constantly are emphasizing about doing better about communicating from play to play.
JW.
I agree. I mean, I didn't see any glaring issues on our defense at all. So, like you said, I just think they need a little more time to mesh, get more familiar with each other, and I think we're going to be fine.
A couple of players I wanted to talk about, like in their progression, both offensively and defense. Oh, I guess offensive and defensively for player one, but then the second one, more of the offense. But Blaine Hill, can you talk about like what he brings? Because he brings almost like a Julian Edelman feel to me, to where like he's going to do the dirty work on offense, but then he's awful mean on defense. Can you talk a little bit about him and what he's brought to the team this year?
Well, Blaine, he's exactly that. He's that scrappy player that you could plug him in just about anywhere in the skill position spots, and he can do a good job. He's also a person who every single play is giving everything he has with it. He's going to have breakdowns. He's going to have mistakes, but he's going to respond, and he's maturing, before our eyes too. We've seen him grow up a lot from his freshman year till now, and he's, still developing, but the competitor in him, and that's something, when you see players and something sticks out that's a little different, a lot of times they've got that competitor drive to where they want to win this play. No matter what's going on, I'm going to beat you this play. That's kind of how he is with a lot of stuff he does.
And occasionally, maybe I'll try to break the rules and get away with it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I think we talked about this too. I've always said, Blaine to go up against a pit bull if that's what you want him to do. He's not afraid of anything.
Yeah.
Well, and I think he's the type of player, what we're kind of talking about is the one where you literally, as a coach, you've sat there and said, I could ask him to run through a brick wall and he'd sure give it a shot. And, Blaine's stepped up a lot this year to do some things and some, good things both games so far that I'm really excited to see how he progresses throughout the rest of the year. Second player is, I guess, talking about from offense, but like this last week, he played some defense. Tate Gieske. Yeah. My goodness. I mean, I know you had high expectations for him. I mean, and that's a good thing. Is he exceeding some of what you had expected for him?
I mean, offensively, he's doing exactly what I expected. It was kind of, with how he performed last season, what we knew we had coming back, and the work he's put in. And that's something a lot of people don't get to see that. But the fact that I'm in the weight room all winter and spring and summer, and, Jason Diller is the head track coach, and he's also my D coordinator. So I'm seeing the work these guys are putting in, and as much as he's worked, going to camps and the stuff he's done behind the scenes when nobody's watching, that's paid dividends, and that's been huge for him. But then also, the defensive part doesn't shock me either, because in practices when we would have him do stuff, and even last year, we're like, Tate has no problem trying to stick his nose in there and tackle something. And so that was never. I mean, his freshman year, I think he blocked 3 punts on the season as a freshman, and it was, he was so excited last week. He was on the punt block unit to get a chance to go after one too. He's just same with Blaine. Anything he does, he's going to try to be the best person on the field doing it. And as a leader, he's doing a great job. He's very vocal. Defensively going out there, yelling calls, making constant communication with people. It's something we're really high on him for, because he holds himself to a high standard. I don't think you'd find somebody harder on Tate than Tate is. So I think that's a great thing. I think that's helping him as he develops, as he wants to constantly get better.
Well, and we were talking during the broadcast that he was laying some wood. Like he was laying it to some guys. Whether it was on the tackle or not, he was hitting some people.
Yeah,
and
he wasn't hitting like a quarterback.
Right. But I think that is a testament of what he does in the weight room and how hard he works on his own, because I don't get me wrong, you're like, ooh, you're our quarterback, but you don't worry necessarily that he's going in and to put a hit on somebody.
Well, he's matured too, and he's smart. He's not doing something reckless, other than maybe jumping for a first down here or there when just taking it. But no, he makes pretty smart decisions, and he's also fundamentally sound. A lot of we do tackling circuit every single week. We do stuff like that to where our guys know how to tackle and protect themselves while they're doing that as well.
Well, it's a much better outcome if you look at the score than week one. I mean, but is it ultimately? We got the W. It doesn't matter how many you win by 1, win by 100. It's all a W.
Well, I mean, as long as we win, I'm happy for the most part.
Right.
My after the game happiness levels can change based on how we perform and stuff. But, week 1, Ben Logan beat West Liberty Salem week 2, and West Liberty Salem lost to Ironton in the state semifinals last year.
Right.
So,
that
Ben Logan team, we were really high on them afterwards because I was impressed with how they played against us. And I was pretty confident they were going to win some games, and they've already done that.
Yeah.
Pandora had a win going into ours, but the reality of it is until you have both played the same team, the comparisons stop once you get on the field. Right. And, we were very confident in our guys going into the game. I thought my coaches did a great job preparing them all week. And, we were confident going in. I just felt, the vibe of the locker room in pregame and how the guys were feeling that it was going to be a good night. The guys came out hot, and when we're playing fast and the kids are playing confident, like I said a week ago, we can score really, really fast. And they did.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm looking at one stat, and it was one of the 3 keys, but the one stat, and we even kind of talked about why, and it kind of came 2-0. Mm-hmm. That's the turnovers from Pandora. Yeah. Pandora had 2, we had 0, and is that one of the things? I mean, we won by 34. That's 5 touchdowns, but still, turnovers can sway the flow of the game. Is that one of your huge pieces? Like, look, we kept care of the ball. We did well on that one.
Yeah, well, and for the reality of it is the 2 takeaways we had, Leighton had an interception at the 1-yard line, and Kane had an interception in the end zone.
Right.
So, our takeaways were in the red zone. Those were important, and Kane's was towards the end there in the second half, and Leighton's though was there was still a fight there.
Yeah, that was a deal breaker, I believe.
Yeah, and I credit Coach Hershey and Pandora. They weren't going to lay down at half. They easily could have come out and we were planning on keeping our ones out until they started subbing, because both of us are in the same situation. Small school football, we don't have a ton of subs, and a lot of times, your backups that go in, you want to make sure they're protected and not going against starters. Right. And he kept those starters in, and I thought they were playing just as hard in the second half as they did in the first half. They didn't care that they, started the second half with a running clock and things like that. But for us, it's taking care of the football gives you that opportunity to win a game. And, we had a couple close calls. We, on a return there, we had somebody get a little careless with the ball, and luckily we bailed ourselves out.
I think that's the fumble recovery, JW, that I was talking about earlier.
And
I remember we were watching that, and I said, because he probably broke 5-6 tackles.
Yes.
Well, that's when you start swinging that rock out here like this.
Yeah.
And I do believe, JW, you even said, well, I got to give Coach Richards something to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, he knew as soon as he came off.
Absolutely.
He knew. And, we've got a little accountability we do when we put the ball on the ground, and
sure.
He took care of that. But, with that, the turnovers aspect of it, I was pleased. I felt there was a few plays there where we could have gotten another one, and we just, had some missed opportunities. But for the most part, if you can be +2 on takeaways, that's usually a solid game.
Yeah,
you're gonna win more than you don't if you
take
care of the ball and force them to turn it over. So I agree. And,
another thing I was looking at too is our penalties. We only had 2 penalties all night for 6 yards. I mean, granted they were kind of unusual spots, but if you're only getting penalized for 6 yards, it's kind of hard to lose a game. When you
I think that 6th yard was the holding penalty that got held 9 yards back.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a couple others that got declined.
Right.
And I do think that, that was something we weren't pleased about. With some penalties were a little reckless.
Sure.
And it was more, we didn't stay disciplined in some areas in the second half that we wanted to. So there was definitely some areas there in regards to playing a disciplined, clean game that we definitely emphasized to our guys on Saturday.
How's practice been this week?
It's been interesting. Just some non-football stuff that's going on with the guys.
Yeah.
But we try to keep things as consistent as possible with how we prepare. With Bowsher, it's a brand new opponent, so we kind of are going in blind because we've never played him. But overall, it's been kind of business as usual with how we prepare and kind of moving on. We're not trying to be complacent with last week's game.
Sure.
All right. Well, 2-0. Going on to the first road trip of the season, we travel up to Toledo to take on the Bowsher Blue Racers on Friday night there at Bowsher High School. We're going to take a quick break, come back and talk to Coach about that matchup on Friday and what we kind of are prepping to do and how they look, because I really don't know much about them, Coach, so you're going to have to help me out here. But you're watching the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
With 27 years of experience and attention to detail, Angels Flooring provides many flooring services. Call 419-302-7151 for more information. Angels Flooring, serving Bluffton and surrounding areas since 2009. With 27 years of experience and attention to detail, Angels Flooring provides many flooring services. Call 419-302-7151 for more information. Angels Flooring, serving Bluffton and surrounding areas since 2009.
Grove Systems in Bluffton is hiring for its 2026 apprenticeship class, where you attend road states for 2 days and train at Grove for 3 days during the week. Program covers tuition and pays you for 40 hours. Go to joingrove.com/apprentice for more information.
Axe Ventura is open every Thursday through Sunday with locations in Findlay and Bellefonte. Walk-ins are welcome, but reservations are recommended. Visit axeventura.com to book today. Axe Ventura, family-friendly fun focusing on the axe experience.
Lounge Media Group is a multimedia company that provides internet, radio broadcast, radio, and podcast services. Go to loungemediagroup.us for more information. Lounge Media Group, big city quality with a hometown price.
All right, we are back here to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show. Here live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Steve Angels Flooring got the double play during that break. I apologize. I had an itchy trigger fingers, and I accidentally tapped to stop it, and it restarted. So we got that in twice, but he did give us a thumbs up on YouTube there. So, but all right. Well, this week, Game 3, we travel to Toledo to take on the Bowsher Blue Racers. Coach, Bowsher's a Division II school. They're a big school, so do you anticipate, or I don't know, I haven't even gotten the roster yet, but a pretty large amount of players on this team, or is it a smaller team as well?
Yeah, Division II, Toledo Public School. There's school size wise, significantly larger than Bluffton, of course.
For sure.
Number of players wise, they're in the 40s, similar to us, though. So
okay.
They're not overwhelming numbers wise, but their clientele to choose from is a larger range because it's such a bigger school. So the 40 plus, like 45 guys that they have, we're expecting to see some really good players there. They definitely have size, and they have some athletic guys that have some speed as well. So, but yeah, it's kind of, I got a roster, but there's no heights or weights on the roster. It's literally just names and
names and positions,
names and numbers. That's about it. So, based on film is all we can go. And, we only have 2 games of theirs. So it's not a, huge, amount of information to go by. What we do know is, they're a 0-2 team, but they're a Division II 0-2 team that's played two bigger schools than us. They played Otsego, who's a Division IV opponent, and they played Genoa, who's a Division V opponent. Both of those games, they lost, but it appears, they're physical. They're gonna play all the way, all 4-quarter game. They're gonna play very physical. It looks like they have some solid running backs and some definite speed on the perimeter as well. Their quarterback's got a really big arm too. So, I think it's one of those. It's kind of a nerve-wracking game just based on it's a stretch for us to go up to Division II. Being that big of a jump.
Yeah.
But also for us, I think it's nice because it gives us something. It's definitely uncomfortable because it's a setting we've never been in. It's a team we've never seen. We have no common opponents. So we're going in there and we've got to hang our hat on what we do well and play a good game.
What you described about them kind of makes me feel that it's they're going to improve each week, and at any given week they could click, and it would be a brawl basically to beat them.
Oh, absolutely. We're going in expecting a 4-quarter game. I think by Division II standards, they're a lower team just based on numbers and who they have to play against and things like that. But compared to schools our size and things like that, it's going to be a fight. They're a solid football team. Coach Peacock, their head coach, he was at Toledo Wait for I think 10 years and the head coach for 5. So he's bringing in kind of a new mentality to that group, and they seem to be responding.
Yeah. Now you have like an hour and 20-minute bus ride. How do you approach that? That's a long ride even. For older people, but
the bus ride wise, kind of way we always approach it. Last year for us, our drives to Fort Loramie and to Crestview and back to back and to Ben Logan week 1, we had a lot of long drives last year. A big thing for us is having the guys just relax on the way up. There's no sense to be getting yourself all pumped up on a bus.
Right, for an hour and a half,
So just relaxing, listen. If they want to listen to music, kids these days with their Clash Royale video game on their phones or whatever. But, they do stuff, whatever makes them feel comfortable and relaxed on the bus is great. We don't want to have a lot of nonsense going on. It's pretty quiet.
Right. Yeah.
As soon as we get there, it's all business. Usually they'll get a chance to walk the field, get in the locker room. We'll put up the itinerary, and then we get going. And we don't want to get there too early unless it's one of those games where we want to have some time to kind of wake our legs up.
Sure. Yeah.
I think drive up to Toledo, it's a pretty easy drive. I mean, it's right up 75.
Yeah.
So I don't think that will be too bad, and I don't think the weather's going to be crazy. So, last year going to Ben Logan, we got there pretty early just because it was super, super hot out.
Sure.
That first game as well. So for us, we try to keep it as consistent as possible. We'll do our pregame workout at the Mater Center right before we get on the bus.
Right.
And they'll hop on the bus and get ready to go when we get there.
Sure.
So we injuries week 1. We know Javen is out for a few weeks. How's Evan looking? Is he progressing?
Evan's progressing. He's looking, he's each day looking a little bit better. Our trainer, he works, rehab with guys, and he works prehab with guys where there's guys that they're not even injured, but we're making sure they don't have injuries flare up, and if they have nagging things, they're taking care of those. So, those guys are on the mend. They're on their way back, definitely. Definitely in a better situation now than we were a week ago.
Right. What about Parker? Have you heard of any final word on him?
Well, so with Parker last week, it was actually smart on his end because he felt something in his leg, and he just went down and shut it down because he knew, we were in control of the game.
Yeah, he's been through it already too.
Yeah. So Saturday morning he was walking around and he's been running and stuff this week.
Okay.
And doing stuff. So,
nice.
It really was, I think it was more of just a precautionary thing. And then we take precautions there, but with him, he's, he got yelled at for, seeing how high he could jump in box jumping today.
That's Parker though.
He's still, doing, so that was, I think the bigger one is, I had a calf cramp the other day and nobody was concerned about it.
And you know what? Those linger.
And I suffered through it. I just, I had to tough it out, but
we had to lead by example.
That's right.
Well, I didn't see any sort of news about it, so I would have made contact with you. No. Them things hurt too. Get one when you fall asleep, or when you're asleep and you get it. Oh goodness, they last all day almost. What is one thing that you guys are really worked on this week or something, not necessarily one thing, but something that you guys really worked on that it's been a thing all year. You went into the season knowing that you needed to work on it, and you're just going to constantly keep on that thing until you get it perfect.
There's a handful. It feels like every week we talk in circles with it, but it's something, it's just communication is a constant for us. Offensively and defensively. If guys aren't talking, we're setting ourselves up for failure. So we emphasize that greatly. And then just physicality at the line of scrimmage is something we constantly are harping on. I think half the time the players are just so annoyed about how much we criticize. But, and it's important, and they know it's important, and they know we're not gonna let it slide. We don't want to lower our standard. And for us, our standard isn't being met at times. So if it's not being met, we're going to correct it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Unless JW has some. Do you got anything?
I just know there was some things happening this week. I mean, are the boys all dealing with it pretty well?
Yeah. So one of our players that had a parent pass away due to an accident. So, as a team, I'm proud of them. They're looking out for their teammate. They're checking on him, and they're making sure that, they're doing whatever they can to be supportive. And my coaching staff does a great job as well with that. It stinks. It's, as a coach, one of the hardest things is, having to navigate through tragedies with your athletes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And unfortunately for this group, we've had a handful of tragedies in the past couple of years.
Yeah,
so, really. It's a sinking feeling in your stomach when you get a phone call and on a Sunday and you don't expect that phone call. But with that same thing being said, we really focus on, our guys understanding our team is a family too, and we're always there for each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's been a different week just based off that, but then also, the guys have responded. And I'm proud.
Well, that's great. I think there's some, your kids have some pretty good faith, overall, and I'm proud of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, we're to that point now. We go from a darker, not happy to yet again. Here we are again asking, what are our 3 keys to this week?
So I'm gonna change it up. Not really.
Whoa! Hold up! Dun, 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 dun. Breaking news. Sorry, had to do it.
He's just going in a different order.
That's right. I'm going to start with time of possession because it's different this year because we're scoring really fast at times.
Yeah.
But I think if we need to slow the clock down, we need to have that ability. And also, we need to have our offense on the field. And that means defensively not letting them have drawn out long drives.
Yeah.
Taking care of the football is huge turnovers wise. If we can get some takeaways early, that's great. If we can get that cushion for our defense to then where we're playing fast offensively and we know we've got a lead, we're good there. And then line of scrimmage has been huge. We weren't happy with how the offensive line played week 1. Week 2, they played significantly better, and they got to continue getting better. I think Bowsher has a pretty big, strong defensive line and a pretty big and strong offensive line. So it's going to definitely be a test up front. But, I think those 3, it's every single week it's the same thing because, we've won a lot of games focusing on those 3 things.
But I will keep saying it every time it comes up that it's the same thing. We give you give a different it's for different reasons.
Yeah.
Like that topic is very vague compared to the deeper meaning behind the turnover battle. So. But Coach Richards, thanks so much. Appreciate it greatly. God bless you, my friend, because you know what, somebody that has coached before, it takes a lot then all of a sudden to have some things that pop up that are outside of the sport. You're still a very strong person for them. So thank you for doing that as well. So as a parent and a past coach, I do appreciate that. So thank you very much. And you know what? Let's get to 3-0. All right, we'll be right back. We're going to close the show up when we come back. We'll be, just rehashing basically what we just talked to Coach about, JW, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're watching the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Yeah.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm agent Jason Cox can help you bundle your home and auto insurance today and save money with a State Farm personal price plan. Jason Cox State Farm. Go to jasonismyguy.com for more information.
Pirates look good on the gridiron, and Eikenberry Landscape keeps Bluffton looking good off the field. Design, install, maintain. With a great team and great clients, we get the job done. Call 419-205-0759 for more information or a quote. Eikenberry Landscape Company, proudly serving Pirate Country for all your landscaping needs.
This time out is sponsored by Sumi Rico, Ohio.
At SRK, we believe in teamwork, growth, and community pride. We're hiring for multiple positions, and now's your chance to be a part of a winning team. We're proud to call Bluffton home and honored to create opportunities for the people who make this community strong. Go Pirates!
Kira's Flipside Grill on Main Street in Bluffton offers a made-in menu, live weekly music, craft beer and cocktails, plus kids' meals too. Kira's Flipside Grill. Exceptional food, hip atmosphere, unique dining experience.
Blanchard Valley Health System isn't just a hospital. We are an integrated health system providing comprehensive care in Northwest Ohio. For more information, please visit bvhealthsystem.org. Blanchard Valley Health System. We're here for you.
Hey neighbor, how are you? I wanted to tell you about a place where the wifers and I love to go. Hothead Burritos in Wapakoneta. And now Lima brings you amazing food and fast. You can try any of their sauces on a burrito or a bowl. So grab some Hothead Burritos and enjoy the game. Later, Gator. I'll see you in church. Go Pirates!
All right, we are back here on the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show, live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. We've talked to Coach Richards, JW, just a little bit ago. It seems that they have a plan, even though they don't know much about the Bowsher as we go into two more sleeps and we're playing football.
Yeah. We don't know a lot about them, but I think we just continue to play Pirate football.
Sure.
Stay strong on the front lines, like Coach says. Watch your possessions. I don't care if they're Division II or not.
Right.
We've definitely have a decent team again this year, and so with all the weapons that we have on both sides of the ball, I really think we can go in there and take care of business. Maybe. I'm hoping fairly easily, but there's a possibility that we could go in there and dominate.
Yeah, and we, Coach, even if he thinks that we should dominate, you've always got to be prepared for the best that a team can offer.
Oh,
and so
yeah,
I
absolutely.
think in 2 games worth of film, you can sit there and see, okay, they've got these tendencies. They like to go to this guy, or they like to do this on. You can get a little bit of a read, at least for this season, of some of their tendencies. So I think the coaches are at the point where they can at least prep for that, and then they do adjust very well in games. So it's something that if they maybe there is a struggle. I'm not saying there will be. I'm saying if there is. The adjustments will be made, and all of a sudden, we see a more dominating second half, or
sure.
3 quarters or whatever, to where we just needed to figure one more thing out or something, and I think that adjustment ability makes this game one that we should come away with a victory. I feel very strongly that we should come away with a victory.
And our coaches are some of the best that we've had in years at making those adjustments. Even if it's just something simple.
I have to take your word for that, JW.
Yeah, it's.
I don't doubt it. I'm just saying I have to take your word.
Yeah. I just this group of coaches seem to mesh as well as the players have the last few years.
Yeah.
And they've got each other's back, and they know what they're looking for each other, and they do a great job.
Absolutely, and the game, it's an hour and 20 minutes, but it's not the longest we've gone in the past couple 3 years. So it's not exceedingly long, and like Coach said, it's a straight shot. It'd be one thing if
you're not going through the country and
and that may be just as quick, but it seems like it's longer because you're seeing So. You're all over the place, and it's a little bit more daunting on you as you sit there. And maybe kids have it to where they don't even realize they're turning
they're probably
or
playing a game or something. They don't care.
I don't know. But as a driver, I know it does. It drains you a little bit more. But it's going to be a nice, a nice night from what I can see. Maybe a little chilly, but
that'd be a shame.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind that at all. Being the chunky fella that had to stand at Pandora last year for 92 degrees at game time on aluminum bleachers. And you know what?
Yeah.
I don't mind that people have heard this already 3 or 4 different times. I'm okay with it.
Obviously, yeah.
Because that was atrocious. But
that was one of the most horrendous days I've ever had at a football game.
When it comes to that type of weather, though, that's perfect football weather. That crisp night to where you're sweating, but you're not like sweating to death, and you're not cold, and perfect weather. And I anticipate with the progression, even with maybe a couple of players not being in the lineup, that were there last week or the week before. I think we will still have some progression towards getting even better than we have the past couple of weeks. And I anticipate
agree.
I anticipate a good showing against a team that has what 3 times the kids to choose from. So I mean, that's a lot of kids to choose from.
You've got to assume being a Toledo public school too, they're going to have some good size and some really good speed.
Sure.
And which so far, so did the other teams we faced pretty much.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think that's going to be an issue for us really.
Mm-hmm.
But we just have to do the way Bluffton Pirates play. That's the way it is.
I'm just thinking this is a school that's bigger than even Ben Logan, and Ben Logan has been the biggest school we played coming into or whatever. So
but Ben Logan also had about 85 to 90 kids on the roster.
They did. Yes, they did. So, but I think the key to our week is maybe clamping down on the running game on defense. And slowing that down on defense to see what I think he said the quarterback has a good arm though. So we've got to keep up the same defense that we've been doing relatively well with on passing, and we got better last week, even though we gave up almost 175 yards. That's nothing.
Yeah, but
and
if a team's got a good passing attack, then you put more pressure on the quarterback because we've got the backs that can cover receivers. We've seen that.
Right.
So you just put a little more pressure on the guy, and hopefully you'll get an errant throw and a couple turnovers.
And it's helpful that most of these kids have played against a team like Ottawa Hills, where they're from the Toledo area. They draw from the same, not exact pool, but similar pool of athletes, and so they have speed. We've seen somebody in the same area from the same area, but Ottawa Hills doesn't play Bowsher, so we have no common opponents. Period,
we don't know
with
anything
these guys.
about them. So.
And that's the crazy thing is it to me, not knowing anything about a team just is like, well, we go in and play pirate football. That's what
absolutely.
We do.
That's all you can do. You do the best you can, and hopefully we come out victorious.
You don't necessarily prep to beat them. You make them prep to beat you, and
absolutely.
If you play your game to the way you expect, it doesn't matter what they're throwing at you. We're winning ball games.
And if they've watched the film on us, they're only getting a couple games too, but they've got to be worried about our different weapons. Mm-hmm. I would say on offense, especially. So it'll be interesting to see how they face it.
Yeah, absolutely will be. But that brings us to the end of this week's Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Game day, 2 sleeps away. JW. Yeah. Game day is 2 sleeps away, and we're getting up there in time to start our pre-kick festivities, I think is how I put that. Pre-kick festivities starting at 6:05 on lmgradio.us, and potentially the social media live streaming quest too, depending on whether we have issues with our broadcast. So if you go to lmgradio.us and we're supposed to be on, but there isn't something, come right straight to Facebook or YouTube or X and find us there. We will. This will always be our safety net broadcast portion, but we want to put it out on the radio station. So we will plan every week of putting it on the radio. But if it happens that during game time it's not there, come here. Yep. But we start the Grove Systems of Bluffton kickoff show at 6:05, followed by X's and O's with Coach Richards, brought to you by Jason Cox in State Farm Insurance. And then the pre-kick festivities and wrap up with the pregame show, the Kira's Flipside Grill pregame show. And that brings us straight to the kickoff. All of those we'll do the Jazzercise of Bluffton play of the week from last week's game, which we might have foreshadowed during this show that who it was and what it was. But we'll have that. We will also have the senior spotlight, Fat Jack's Pizza senior spotlights that we will have during that that kickoff show. Then, like I said, X's and O's. Then we'll have all sorts of fun stuff going on in the pregame show because that's when we talk about the team we're getting ready to play, the Bowsher Blue Racers. We'll talk about the matchup between the Pirates and them on Friday from Toledo. We're going to Toledo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully we walk away from Toledo with a big W on Friday night. We have to play our game, and I think we're in good shape. I was going to go in good shape to go is what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You did just say that. Actually.
Well, I said it to explain why it sounded like I was stumbling over everything. Goodness. But anyways, Bluffton and Bowsher on Friday, 7:00 kickoff on lmgradio.us. JW and myself will be there. But thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. We will be back at same bat channel, same bat time, unless something pops up to where we've got to move it. But we plan on being next Wednesday talking about last week and talking about the games and doing the same thing. But thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you on Friday.